Today we're going to look at old Magic the Gathering mechanics that we don't see anymore. What happened to them? Well, I don't know, but they didn't make them anymore. Okay, we're going to start off with fear coming from the Demir House Guard. You're going to be scared because this is a skeleton skull hovering above the body. You can't even cut off the head. Doesn't do anything to him, so be scared. Has fear. This creature can't be blocked except by artifact creatures and or black creatures. Of course, the artifacts, they got no soul, but also what's it called? Black creatures are already dead. What do they have to fear? Fear nothing. Oh, by the way, can we hear music? Can we hear sound? I don't remember if I got on my settings. You guys usually remind me either way. Okay, remember, if you want to suggest a card, you got to give me the mechanic. You don't have to just give me the mechanic. You have to give me the name of the card. Like, what it was Christopher B. What do you got for here? The Poltice Sliver. Poltice Sliver. What do we got here? We got music. All right, we're back. We're back, people. Back to normal. I wonder what happened to fear. It's just confusing. Why can't I block? It's like, I know I can't be blocked by something, but why the black creatures? Because black creatures fear nothing, all right? They're dead already. The zombies, they're dead. The vampires, I think they're also dead. Aren't they considered like undead to some degree? Why can't, okay, hold on. Are we having problems with Scryfall today? Yesterday, oh my God. Yesterday it was YouTube. Today it's Scryfall. There we go, all right. What is that? What is Regenerate? We still have Regenerate. Regenerate is still a thing that exists, isn't it? So all slivers have pay to tap regen. I don't know what the mechanic is here. I'm gonna I'm pretty sure Regenerate is still exists. So we're gonna disqualify this one. Okay, banding is good, but you gotta give me a card. Banding is totally fine. All right, Toad's corrected you with formation. Now, I think the problem with banding, it's funny how complicated we want the original formation. OG formation. Oh my God, there's so many formation cards. Oh, there it is. With the, oh, what is this, the emus? Do we have emus on the screen? I didn't even know the MTG Multiverse knew about emus. It's a white 1 generic instant. Target creature gains banding until end of turn. Draw a card at the beginning of the next turn's upkeep. I've been a warrior for over 400 years, and yet each generation, Keldorans, teaches me new tricks. Yeah, that's right. They run really fast. The banding, it's super complicated, but it's super powerful. I mean, like, you know, if someone asks you, what's banding? You have to say, okay, sit down for a second, because we're gonna explain a few things. Do you know how attacking works? Do you know how blocking works? Do you know how we order the creatures, how they assign damage? Well, you don't get to choose that anymore because the person with banding gets to choose that. So anyway, banding I think it's like damage on the stack. It's a little too complicated. Let's just put it into retirement. Yisa says any Cascade card. Okay, I know at least a few Cascade cards. It's funny you say this because they retired, I think they retired Cascade, but they're bringing it back in like new stupid ways. They've got that new dinosaur that like converts energy into a Cascade-like card. They got, what's it called? What's the new that's other Cascade. Fixed Cascade. It's not even fixed. A bunch of those cards got banned anyway. It starts with a D. It's a huge deck in Discover. There we go. Emperor. Yeah, so, you know, they've retired Cascade, brought in Discover, and what we discovered is it's just as bad. It's just as bad. Who would have thought, like, you know, playing a card and turning cards over into, like, you know, a specific card that you're reaching for it's like a tutor. It's basically a tutor. They're all tutors to some degree. Yeah, Discover is the new Cascade. And it feels just as old as the old one. It's like they changed nothing. Okay, we got Super Chat. We got Elixir here in the house. Look for Queen Mother. It'll show you an ages old card. The hell is this? Sliver Queen, the Brood Mother. Pay 3, put a Sliver token into play. Treat these tokens as a 1/1 colorless creature. Is this like, I don't know, it's from the Vanguard series. Alright, so that's, I wouldn't say Oh, is this like a mechanic? Maybe this is a mechanic to a version of Magic the Gathering I'm not super familiar with. Came out in 1998. It's probably one of those plane... It's like, you know, it's like one of those offshoot things like Plane Chase or whatever. Okay, Toilet Duck. That's wrong! They separate permanents! They brought it back with the Jace thing. Outer Space Jace. That's disqualified. They still separate permanents in stupid ways. Not often. They don't pull that often, but that is those are tournament legal cards. Contract from below ante. Yeah, Wizards would prefer these cards never existed. Wizards, you know, toes the line really close around gambling. Hey, what are the odds of you opening a money card and a booster? Well, I can tell your odds of opening a rare is 100%, says Wizards of the Coast. The odds of you opening uncommons, also 100%. You're guaranteed 3 uncommons. So you're not gambling on any of those things. You're going to definitely get 1 rare. You're definitely going to get 3 uncommons. You're definitely going to get so many commons. Anyway, very hard. Very, very hard to argue out of this one. Discard your current hand and draw 8 new cards, adding the first drawn to your ante. I wonder what that is. Wizards, sweating bullets, pleading the 5th around that one. Remove this card from your deck before playing if you are not playing for ante. I imagine this was just so bad. Gambling as kids just never ends well. It's just a bunch of fighting and kids crying. Yeah, it's brutal. You know, I remember how much like fighting there was over pogs when I was a kid. You know, you flip over so many pogs, you keep them. Yeah, it's not good. Even though that was a skill-based game. But anyway, yeah. We don't see Annie anymore, but there's nothing stopping you from doing it anyway in the comfort of your own home. Next up, King Ginger's Rampage with the Craw Giant. We got ourselves a Craw Giant. 7 mana for a 6/4 trample. It's got Rampage too, which means if you block it, it gets even bigger than it was before. So it gets +2/+2. I think this is a neat mechanic. I don't know. Don't they? I guess they don't have anything like this right now. They got rid of this mechanic, didn't they? They could bring this back at any moment. I think what is wrong with trying to buff up creatures that are attacking? Besides, like, what does it matter? Like, something has to block. I guess they want to encourage, like, blocking and stuff. I guess maybe it was busted. I don't know. I honestly never played around this time. Creatures weren't any good back then anyway. Maybe they don't bring this mechanic back because, frankly, it might as well be left in the dust. This was printed at a time where, like, you were either going to play with a combo deck or you played with something that blew up somebody else's lands. Like, there weren't any fair decks back then. Back in Legends? Get out of here. Okay, next up, we're going to take a look at Almonds. You want to make a comeback, Almonds. See, Lighthouse Chronologist. Oh, Lighthouse Chronologist. Well, I played around this era. I played around the era of the Rise of the Eldrazi, where the level up mechanic came into existence. And I can tell you, this mechanic sucks. It's so high risk, low reward. Like, if you're going to play your Lighthouse Chronologist, you better make sure you have like 7 mana to level it up on the spot. All right, the idea is, the problem is you have to level up at a sorcery speed. Even if you can level up at instant speed, these cards suck. We don't even see cards like, oh, what's that hybrid Burrows card? It's like, it levels up into, if it was a Kithkin, it becomes like a knight and eventually turns into an angel and flies, or dragon or something. I don't know. But even at instant speed, leveling up really, really sucks. Actually, hold on. Did we see? No, we saw a level up card. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. They bring back, I don't know, are we going to count Modern Horizons? Modern Horizons has brought back, like, all these mechanics to some degree. They just bring back some niche ones. Because Hexdrinker was a reprint. See, look at that. That was a mere 4 years ago. Wow, time flies. Back in the days of Modern Horizons 1, Modern Horizons 1. Little did we know it would change the world with Hogak. Okay, next up. Oh, anyway, in big terms, if we talk like in bigly, this card like does not do it. Like the mechanic overall just didn't hit. They made this and it sucked. I mean, it was everyone said, oh, this is gonna be a bomb. This is next True Name Nemesis. This is a 1-mana Progenitus. It's useless. It actually is just stone cold garbage. The people tried. People tried, and in the end, it did nothing. And now it's $3. So if you want to own one mana Progenitus, you can go get it right now. You think this is nuts, Basco? I don't know. Maybe it's better in Commander. It is terrible in like Modern or Legacy. Next up, let's go look at Banovsky. As a new player, Dredge is so Dredge. That is just crazy. Okay, so let's look up Stinkweed Imp. The reason you don't see Dredge anymore is because it's broken. They didn't know how to balance this mechanic. There's nothing good about this mechanic. It just leads to insanity. They've either banned Dredge cards or banned cards that made Dredge cards good. This is the reason why we have so much graveyard hate in the game. There wasn't that much graveyard hate in the past. Almost nothing. And then Dredge came along and they had to make like Grafdigger's Cage and Rest in Peace and Surgical Extraction. I don't know if Surgical Extraction came after or before. But like now we've got like boatloads of graveyard hate. And I would like to think it's all because of the Dredge deck, because holy crap was that unhinged. Okay, next up, we've got Dresden Serpentines, Deranged Hermit. How deranged? The 5-mana 1/1 with Echo. Okay, when Deranged Hermit enters the battlefield, put 4 1/1 green squirrel creature tokens onto the battlefield. Squirrels get +1/+1. Echo is terrible. It is an absolute abomination. Like, you look at the price of all the Echo cards. They're not doing very well, you know, because no one. I mean, there's like one good Echo card. I think it was that Mog Goblin thing or some Goblin, 2-mana Goblin. It's a 1/1. Comes into play with a token. When it dies, you get a token. That's the thing. If you don't pay for the Echo, you still get value out of it or something. Spending 5 mana and then spending another 5 mana to your upkeep is brutal. The beginning of your upkeep. If it came under your control since the beginning of your last upkeep, sacrifice unless you pay its Echo cost. No, I think I would. I mean, I will. But then it's like spending 10 mana. 10 whole mana. Where'd that mana go anyway? They say with every action there's an equal and something reaction. It does go to the big mana sky or something like that. Okay, next up. We got Pacers Fan Forever. Thank you so much for your super chat. Oh, the Megamorph. I have to say, this was one of the most cringiest mechanics in terms of the name. Morph was cool. Megamorph? What is this, like a Megazord? We're basically borrowing from the Power Rangers at this point, except this is not a Power Ranger. Megamorph was you may cast this card face down as a 2/2 creature for 3. Turn it face up anytime for its Megamorph cost and put a +1/+1 counter on it. So basically, you morph it and it like got a little bit bigger. Honestly, I don't know what we should have named it, but Megamorph was not it. And as a result, it feels like they retired this ability. If they went back to Morph. They keep going back to Morph, but they don't go back to Megamorph. Oh my goodness, Shroud. What's a Shroud creature? Is it Silhana Ledgewalker? Isn't there a ledge? I don't know. I don't know a Shroud creature. What's a Shroud creature for me? No, this is hexproof. That's no good. We want. This is fixed Shroud, but actually it's not. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Diplomatic immunity. Thank you very much, Kano. That should work. Oh yeah, that's Shroud. Crystalline Sliver. Well, it doesn't even say Shroud. Oh, I guess this is Shroud. You also don't see the old keywords back in the day. Anyway, diplomatic immunity can't be the target of spells or abilities, and enchanted creature can't be the target of spells or abilities. So the thing the reasoning why they retired this mechanic was because you can't target your own creatures. That apparently sucked. It's like, okay, I protect my creature.
No, God,
Why can't I put auras on it? Why can't I buff it up with my giant growth? What's wrong here? And the answer is, well, that's not how Shroud works. So then they made hexproof, and they made it worse. With now we can get the Ledge Walker. Yeah, hexproof is more broken, because now you can like target the thing. Fortunately, there's a lot of answers to these types of creatures. They still die to board wipes. They can still get sacrificed. There's a lot of answers, but still, yeah. So they got rid of Shroud because it was like an unfun version of hexproof. Although I would say hexproof is an insanely unfun mechanic for the other side. That's for sure. Whenever you can't interact, it's always a problem. Yeah, R.I.P. Boggles. R.I.P. Okay, we got Benovsky's Bloodthirst from Bloodlord of Vazgoth, which is a 5-mana 3/3 vampire war. Bloodthirst 3. If an opponent was dealt damage this turn, this creature enters the battlefield with 3+1/+1 counters on it. Also flying whenever you cast a vampire creature spell. It gains Bloodthirst 3. So if you deal damage, it's almost like Prowl, isn't it? An opponent was dealt damage this turn, this creature enters the battlefield, so you like basically swing in and it becomes a 6/6. I don't know what to say about this mechanic. Like, but if you're on a board wipe, the card's gonna really suck. It seems like a win more sort of mechanic, if you ask me. So you have to deal damage in order to get the very, very intimidating creature. Otherwise, it just does nothing. Ooh, 3/3 Rayo. The flip card. I liked the flip cards, okay? I thought this was great. Split cards, 2 thumbs down. There's a lot of different designs they've done over the years. I think this is fantastic. You just turn the card upside down. There's nothing wrong with that. And we both know what side is what anyway. I like this design. I think it's clean. The image is good. If we flip it, it still looks like an image of something. Anyway, huge fan of these flip cards. I don't know why they got rid of it. But we should have went back. They should have brought them back in the Kamigawa Neon Dynasty. Sean says, I feel like your opponent chooses like Brow Boot, never shows up unless it's blue. Oh, yes, exactly. Okay, we got a super chat come from Emperor. Provoke and Bushido from both Greater Morphling. Is this an unset card? This is disqualified. It's absolutely Bushido. What do you say, Bushido? Oh yeah, it's Bushido. It doesn't explain the mechanic on here. I don't even know. So do we have a good Bushido? What was your other card? Sorry, what was the other mechanic? Bushido and Provoke. I don't even know what either of those do. I need help. I need answer. Where's the Oracle text? There's no Oracle text. This was a very... Okay, what's a good Provoke card? Okay. MTG Provoke mechanic. We're looking it up right now. It's a keyword ability on creatures that allows a player to, during their declare attacker step, untap a creature defending player controls and... allows a player to, during their declare attack step, untap a creature the defending player controls and require that creature to block the attacking creature with Provoke. The block must still be legal. Example, a non-flying creature cannot block a flying creature even when Provoke is used on it. It's like a weird, it's like, what's it called? It's like Lure. We are forcing them to block our stuff. So you have to untap, you must block. Block, yeah, Provoke is targeted block. It's odd. I guess I don't know. I would hate that mechanic, honestly. You're going to make me untap and force me to block my creatures? That sucks. At least give me the option to attack and not have to deal with that. But you're going to untap my... You're going to reach over across my table. You're going to untap my creature and do that? How dare you? And then the other mechanic you wanted was Bushido. This has something to do, it's like, isn't it close to Rampage? Bushido MTG mechanic. Bushido! Makes creatures bigger. But what does it do? If they block or are blocked. Oh, I see, okay. So it's like it's like a more, it's a bigger, better Rampage. Bushido appears in Kamigawa. Oh, it showed up in the new Kamigawa, did it? That's okay. Okay, next up. Everyone's letting us know that Bushido made a comeback. Chroma for Devotion, Fear, Intimidate. Chroma. I mean, Chromanticore? No. I don't know what this is, so we gotta move on. They literally brought Annihilator back. Okay, where's but honestly, it was just but they brought it back big time. We have to disqualify that. It wasn't like one card. They just brought like Annihilator back to 1,000,000 cards from Modern Horizons 3. So they definitely, that is definitely a mechanic we still see as of just a week ago. Oh, Chroma. Oh, Chroma is the mechanic. Light from Within. Okay, we got 4 mana Chroma. Each creature you control gets +1/+1 for each white mana symbol and its mana cost. Oh, this was before Devotion. What a weird thing. Why don't they just then why didn't they bring Chroma back? I guess they just wanted to. Is this exactly the same? Each creature you control gets +1/+1 for each white mana symbol in its mana cost. It's not for all the mana costs on the battlefield. Tell you what they were doing with this. I think I remember something being said about this. They were like testing the waters here. You know, they're testing the waters to see how this would work in the future, and it worked great. They said that this was an amazing mechanic. So we can go big time now with Devotion, which was one of my favorite mechanics of all time. One of my favorite, because it rewards you for going monocolor. I love Devotion, big fan. Oh, Epic? What card is Epic? We need an Epic card. You gotta give me names. You gotta give me the mechanic and the name with the mechanic. I'm gonna go to a super chat. We're gonna go to Toads. We've got, you want Aura Swap from Arcs Nenum Wings. Only card that has this mechanic. Well, this is definitely a very rare. This is definitely a rare card, but this was back in Future Sight when they just made a bunch of one-off mechanics. Some came back, some didn't. We know the Goyf one came back, that's for sure. Enchanted creature has flying, but it's got Aura Swap. Exchange this aura with an aura card in your hand. Could be to put the fear of death in them. This should have been 1 mana. Why'd it have to be 2? That'd be a combo. Okay, next up we've got Super Duper. Fuse was a good mechanic you never see anymore. All split cards should have Fuse. Oh, it was like Beck and Call, I believe. There was like a rule problem back then. Or they should make a card that gives all splits Fuse. Wear and Tear, for example. Oh, God. No, this is not a bad mechanic. The cards just mostly were bad, which was the problem. You know, I mean, here's the worst problem for this mechanic. Let's first explain the mechanic. It's a split card, but you could pay both costs and you get both sides of the card, and that's good value. So, for example, Beck and Call, you could play the Beck card, which says when a creature enters the battlefield this turn, you can draw a card. Or you can play the Call card side, which says put 4 1/1 white bird creature tokens with flying onto the battlefield. But if you did both of them, you got the whole shebang. So you'd get 4 birds, and then you would draw 4 cards. You may cast one or both halves of this card from your hand with Fuse. I think that's a good mechanic. I think they could bring that one back. Maybe they're being a little bit more careful about the split cards, especially since how they're so abused in the Cascade decks these days. But in addition to that, I want to say this came out in Dragon's Maze, one of the absolute worst sets of all time. I mean, it was terrible. I know for you Commander players, you love Dragon's Maze. They got so much jank in there. It's like, it's just rich with jank. But for competitive players, it was dog water. It was so bad. It was just terrible. Oh, the rares were worthless because almost nothing saw play. Oh, they printed a new fuse in Doctor Who? Was it one or many? Okay, next up. Michael Ings, Urza Rage Kicker. What are you talking about? They always had Urza's Rage. They've had Kicker since they keep printing more cards with Kicker. Or is Kicker retired? I want to assume they still make Kicker. That's got to be something. Oh, Exert. Oh my God, you make me feel like I'm old. Oh, sorry. Let's look at Bitterblade Warrior. Bitterblade Warrior. I kind of like Exert, just the after effect is eh. This makes me feel super old. This was like 8 years ago when Amonkhet came out. When you exert Bitterblade Warrior as it attacks, when you do, it gets +1/+0 and gains Death Touch until end of turn. So basically, when you exert yourself, it's like you're gonna use a little bit more energy to do a little bit more, but then you're tired. So what ends up happening is your exerted creature won't untap during your next untap step. You gotta take a break. You gotta take it easy, Grandpa. You gotta take it easy, all right? You shoveled half the driveway. Now you just take a seat. You gather yourself together, and you'll be back in there. You gotta take a timeout for a second. Elixir with Cogwork Librarian. What's the mechanic? Draft Cogwork Librarian face up. Oh yeah. They might bring this back. I guess not. Oh, maybe this is in a lot of trouble. Okay, as you draft a card, you may draft an additional card from that booster pack. If you do, put Cogwork Librarian into that booster pack. That's interesting. So you can. So basically, what you do is you draft this with the intention of drafting a different, like 2 cards from the same pack later, and then replacing it with the Cogwork Librarian, which then means someone else can use it later. Interesting. So if the pack stinks, like it's stinky, it's nothing you want, you go take the Cogwork Librarian. Go get yourself something really nice later. Kicker was just in, yeah, exactly. Kicker is evergreen for eternity. I know it looks bad. What's it called? I can't remember now that stupid Cyclonic Rift. Cyclonic Rift gives it a bad name, bad rap, but make no mistake, Kicker's not going anywhere. Exert is back on the lands in Modern Horizons 3. Not in a big way, though. Yeah, they put it on one land. That's not like how they put Annihilator. They put Annihilator on bloody everything. Okay, next, well, let's get like one more. Okay, hold on, we got an epic card. Eternal Dominion. Needs to come back, but the cards need to be way stronger, like Insurrection every turn. If they make it too strong, it's going to be broken. This is already a risky mechanic. Epic, for the rest of the game, you can't play spells, but at the beginning of each of your upkeeps, you copy the spell. Except its epic ability, you may choose new targets for the copy. Essentially, you're always going to draw this 10 mana spell every game. Like, what do you want, though? You want them to be 4 mana or something? That's ridiculous. Absolute abomination. So, I think it's a risky mechanic. I think it was a smart choice to make them super ultra expensive, because if they make them too cheap, they're just going to be insane. In my opinion. All right, it's time to thank our sponsors, FusionGamingOnline.com. Oh, deal of the week, save 15% off all Pokemon products. But you don't get just Pokemon out of FusionGamingOnline.com. You also get Modern Horizons 3. They're hot. Those singles are fresh, hot, and ready for your buying needs. I'm getting so many cards for Pioneer and Modern these days. I'm going to a tournament. I'm going to NRG Series St. Louis. See you all there if you're going to be there. And I'm preparing by getting all my cards from FusionGamingOnline.com. And you can, don't forget to use coupon code Nikachu at checkout to get 5% off all your purchases at checkout. We're also gonna thank Mana Traders, of course, the premier place to rent Magic cards online. I have rented so much from Mana Traders to play test the best deck possible for my upcoming tournaments. Not to mention, you can also play Commander on Magic the Gathering online, which also allows you to rent cards with Mana Trader. Well, You play on Magic Online, but where are you going to get the cards? You rent them from Mana Traders. You can support the channel using my Mana Traders link in the description below, or save 10% off your first 2 months using coupon code Nikachu_OKM. Okay, back to sweet mechanics. Epic. Epic fail. Very epic. Okay, Thomas. Sweep! What the hell is that? Charge across the Araba. Oh, charge across the Araba. It's a 5-mana instant arcane spell. I don't see arcane either. I'm glad. I still don't know how arcane cards work. Sweep. Return any number of planes you control to their owner's hands. You control. Okay. It's not like sweep all your stuff back. Creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn for each planes returned this way. Probably people hated this mechanic. That's probably the deal. Who wants to bounce? Who wants to self-upheaval themselves? Sounds absolutely god-awful. Does anyone want to sweep? Does anyone get an advantage out of this? Like, it's not like balance is legal or anything like that. Next super chat we got from King Ginger. Bolster. Bolster, you say? From, Anafenza. The Kintree Spirit. What happened to Bolster? You know what? I think it evolved to, what is it called? Training? Oh, you want to also look at Outlast from, Arcus Acolyte. So I think, what is the, there is like, they brought Bolster back, but I think they made it a little bit better. Like, whenever you attack with the weakest creature, it gets bigger. Or something to that effect. So I don't think Wizards looked at it like it was a bad mechanic, that people didn't like it, but they found a way to actually make it better. Maybe also make it make sense. See, like, whenever another creature you control enters the battlefield under your control, choose a creature with the least toughness among creatures you control and put a +1/+1 counter on it. Yeah. Or I don't think it was broken. Or was it broken? I can't remember. I want to say like there were some combos that involve this card. So it's like whenever another non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control. Something to do with... No, can't be clones. Or sorry, can't be tokens. Making copies of things. You don't have to do Outlast. That was just in case Bolster had been done. Oh, I see. Thank you very much, King Ginger. Wall is retired, isn't it? Oh, as a creature type? As a creature type, not as a mechanic. Still, Defender is still a mechanic, though. Defender still exists. MTG sub games from Shilin from Shahrazad. Yeah, sub games. They're dead. Who wants it? Was this the only card that ever did this? I want to say there was something else, but maybe I'm wrong. I think Shahrazad was the only one that decided, hey, you know, shuffle everything up and let's play another game of Magic. Whoever wins will have half the life points in the OG game. This is literally Inception, the card. We must go deeper. We must go deeper and deeper, and we need more Shahrazads. Is there not a possible chance the game gets locked up? I'm just thinking, is there any way the game gets locked up if you go too deep? Maybe not. I guess the idea is like if you go too deep, people will just run out of cards in their library and they just lose from decking out or something. Next up, Xrillium. Never forget Chaos Orb. Dexterity cards. Just looking at really old cards in general. Flip Chaos Orb onto the playing area from a height of at least 1 foot. Chaos Orb must turn completely over at least once, or is discarded with no effect. When Chaos Orb lands, any cards in play that it touches are destroyed, as is Chaos Orb. You better believe that one is completely toast. Not really a mechanic in the first place, really. We did anti-Pedgeman. Oh, the untap mechanic on Pilipala. We got 2 mana 1/1 Scarecrow Flyer. Pay 2, untap to add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. I think that's a cool mechanic. I imagine that's very confusing. I think they could bring that one back though. That one could make a comeback. I thought it, and I played it. I think it's a cool mechanic because you attack with the creature and then you can pay a cost to untap it and like get the benefit. I think that's great. We did banding. Bands with is basically close enough to the same thing, in my opinion. Vic the Foxy Gamer with Guan Yu. Sainted Warrior. Oh, horsemanship. Yeah, horsemanship. I mean, it's just landwalk, really. Or is it landwalk? What is the closest this thing? Yeah, I guess it's closest to landwalk. Except it's, I don't know, maybe it's a weird mix of landwalk and shadow. When Guan Yu, did they explain horsemanship? Yeah, this creature can't be blocked except by creatures with horsemanship. But you can still block other creatures with horsemanship. So it's like a little bit of a weird mix. It's like saying you have forest walk. You can only be blocked by creatures with also forest walk. So somewhere between that. People hate it. People absolutely hate unblockable stuff. You know what? I think people would prefer the card literally said it's unblockable than to taunt them with horsemanship. Like, why can't my creatures have horsemanship? What happened here? If only my creatures had horsemanship, we would be in good shape. Yeah. We did provoke Tommy Sins. Yeah, we did provoke. It's close. Oh yeah, you're right. Actually, it's unique flying. You're right. Actually, you're 100% right on that one, Bryce. Yeah. Unblockable isn't a keyword anymore for some reason. It's been replaced by can't be blocked. That's true. I don't know the history of cannot be blocked. It's a bit weird. Okay, let's take one for the freebie section. Dracon, do attacking planeswalkers count? They've done a lot of those. Like, there's been a million Gideons that attack. Then Daybound and Nightbound from Arlen. That one we don't see anymore, and I don't think we ever will. What a stupid mechanic. This is such a bad mechanic. Hold on, what was it called? Arlen. No, it was this one. This is the Daybound one. If a player casts no spells during their own turn, it becomes night next turn. So basically, both players have to pay attention. So if a player casts no spells on their own turn, so like if you don't cast spells while it's someone else's turn, then it doesn't count. They really should have just went with Huntmaster of the Fells. That was clean. Like, that was intuitive. Everyone understood this. No one except the wolf players know this one, all right? Only people who play wolves know this mechanic. And it's so hard to pay attention to in competitive play. Like, damn it! I wish this thing didn't exist. This is a mistrigger nightmare. And then we have Nightbound if a player casts at least 2 spells during their own turn. So basically they're only counting the person's turn that it's on. Maybe it's better for Commander because you're only paying attention to the person's turn, but anyway, it's just brutal. Absolutely brutal. I also dislike Day and Night. I'm sure that a lot of judges got a lot of judge calls for this. Fortification from the Dark Steel Garrison. And three donations by Steve Cooper. Dark Steel, a lot of Dark Steel. Hold on. The Dark Steel Garrison. No relation to Mr. Garrison, I'm sure. Okay, we got 2 mana fortification. This is like, isn't this just it's like equipment for lands, right? Whenever a fortified land becomes tapped target creature, it gets +1/+1 until end of turn. And if I remember correctly, this was the only time that was this is the only time this was ever printed. Not much of a mechanic, if you ask me. You people are mentioning a lot of mechanics that there was like a one-of card, and then that's it. We got Charizard. We got Chaos Orb. Now we have the Dark Steel Garrison. All right, 3 Vanguard. Hermit Druid Avatar. Can I look this up? I was able to look it up. All right, we got the Vanguard cards. Your starting hand size is reduced by 2. Your starting life total is reduced by 2. That like does nothing. And at the beginning of your upkeep, put a card from your library chosen at random onto the battlefield. Holy moly! We're gonna gamble here, people. We're gonna roll the dice and hopefully something good comes up. That's card advantage. Put a land card from your library chosen at random. Oh no, but it's only lands. But still, that's free ramp every single turn. How do you even cast these cards? What a weird rule. Okay, we've got we've got a new fortification. Oh boy, forecast on Proclamation of Rebirth. Oh yeah, forecast. 3 mana. Return up to 3. Okay, let's just look at forecast. Reveal Proclamation of Rebirth from your hand. Return target creature card with converted mana cost 1 or less from your graveyard to play. So the way forecast works is play this ability only during your upkeep and only once each turn. So it's just really awkward to play your upkeep because you have to commit yourself to this play without even drawing your card yet. And also it's pretty expensive, so it definitely burns your turn. So this better be worth it to return target creature card with convert mana cost 1 or less from your graveyard to play. It's just a 1/1. How dangerous could it be? Anyways, like, I think this mechanic was just really awkward and clunky. Most people are just not gonna like it. We did epic. We did epic, Pedgeman. Arcanus Ultra with the Astral Dragon. Only card with project image mechanic. Astral Dragon. Project. Is that true? Project image. Where'd it come from? Oh, Commander's Baldur's Gate. Oh, well, there's like... Okay, I'm disqualifying these mechanics that have 1 card. There's so many cards, especially from the new Commander sets, like the precons, where it'd be Doctor Who or 40k. There's literally like 50 different cards with just 1 unique mechanic, and of course we don't see them anymore because it was just basically a joke. It's like it's more there for flavor. Yeah, it's like it's more for flavor than anything else. Christopher B's got it 100% right. I want mechanics. It has to have been on at least 2 or more cards. At least. Okay, Bell with Limp Sliver. For the Absorb ability. Only card I know of that has Absorb. All Sliver creatures have Absorb 1. I might count this one because this didn't come from a precon. If a source would deal damage to a Sliver, prevent that damage. Absorb. Is this really the only one? Oh, it's from one of those time spiral. Oh, it's another one of those future. Okay, we're gonna. Okay, I'm disqualifying everything from Future Sights. Future Sight is disqualified, people. Future Sight and Commander 40k decks, Doctor Who decks, they're all disqualified. 2 or more. The mechanic had to have seen on 2 or more creatures. Okay, let's get 1 more in here. Island Home. Oops, from Dan. Are there any more home cards? If you can, when you control, is that a real mechanic? It just says when you control no island, sacrifice Dan. I don't think that's even a real mechanic. Oh, Injet, but from what? You got to give me a card. Island Fish from Jasconius. That was a mistake, though. That was a complete mistake. That was just like an error. Come on, we have 1 more super chat. We got 1 more freebie from Steve Cooper. You have to give me a. I don't know. I don't even know what an ingest card is. There are some mechanics that are so below the bar for even playable at a competitive level. I can't even name you one ingest card, even if I wanted to. So you have to give me the mechanic with a card. There, Steve Cooper saved you. Calling Drone. It also has Devoid! Ingest. When this creature deals combat damage to a player, that player exiles the top card of their library. Oh, yeah! Now I remember this mechanic. There was a whole thing of... the Eldrazi exiling cards, and then you could take those cards from exile, put them in their graveyard, and then you got some sort of bonus or something. What a weird world that was. But yeah, we most definitely don't see ingest anymore. Arcanus, Myojin of the Seeing Winds, the Divinity counter mech. Myojin. Seeing Winds, though. There we go. The divinity counter. Comes into play with a divinity counter only if you played it from your hand. And it's indestructible as long as it has a divinity counter on it. Now, in addition to that, remove a divinity counter from it and draw a card for each permanent you control. Amazing mechanic. Now, they should bring this back. I actually think this is a great idea. They reward you for actually casting your cards. These days, nobody casts their cards. They're just cheating them in play. They put them from the graveyard to the battlefield. They tutor them from the deck onto the battlefield. We should be rewarded for literally casting our cards with lands and putting them onto the battlefield. Blacker Lotus is not even a real card. Let alone was that wasn't even a mechanic. Tapping, sacrificing it for 3 mana was not even a mechanic. Wolfwing, not sure if it counts as a mechanic, but forced attacking. Nettling Imp. That was such a great way to get rid of annoying cards. Also would kill if it didn't attack. Nettling Imp, 3 mana, 1/1. Tap, force a particular one of opponent's non-wall creatures to attack. If target creature cannot attack, it is killed at end of turn. This ability can only be used during opponent's turn before the attack. May not be used on creatures summoned this turn. I don't think there's a formal name for this. I don't even, it's like an old version of, not taunt, what's it called? There's like a very popular commander mechanic around this. Like you have to force someone to attack, and they've got to attack someone that's not you. Anyway. Yeah, goad. That's what I'm thinking of. Goad. This is good goad? Yeah, goading. Okay. So this is like goad, and if I were to take a guess, this is a good mechanic, but they preferred it in the form of goad instead of this. That's the way I'm looking at it. Okay, next up we got King Ginger's Fate. Oh, Fate Seal. Did they get rid of? I think maybe they got rid of Fate Seal. Spin into myth. This is 5 mana instant. Put target creature on top of its owner's library, then Fate Seal 2. To Fate Seal 2, look at the top 2 cards of an opponent's library, then put any number of them on the bottom of that player's library, then the rest on top in any order. I don't know what this is like for you commander players, but this mechanic is super frustrating to play against in competitive play.
No, God, please, no.
If you, let's say you have Jace the Mind Sculptor, and I think it was the +2, you got to look at the top card of somebody's library and decide if it's going to stay on top or go on the bottom. They would always keep lands on top and make sure you just drew absolute garbage for the rest of the game. If I were to take a really good guess, this mechanic didn't come back because it's super unfun to play against at a competitive level, and it's super strong. Manipulating one person's deck, like in a 4-player game, not a big deal. Manipulating your direct opponent, big deal. Nadim with Landfill or Fallen Star? Landfill. This is a fake card. Fallen Star. This is Fallen Star mechanic here. What is this? Choose land type. X all lands you control of that type. Drop those cards one at a time and onto the playing area for. Yeah, this is a BS card. This is nonsense. That's not a real mechanic. Not as far as I know. Chaos. We did Chaos Orb already. All right, we did Chaos Orb. Shalin with the Companion, Luris of the Dream Den. So, I don't know if you Commander players know, but this was super controversial to the competitive players. They hated this. Companions? What are you turning competitive play into Commander? Commander, are you? You could play this as your companion if a clause was fulfilled. Each permanent card in your starting deck has converted mana cost 2 or less. If this card is your chosen companion, you may cast it once from outside the game. And it was funny. Apparently, they playtested this mechanic like a super long time ago, and they said it was garbage. Like it makes the games in competitive play way too consistent. Basically, you start the game with like an extra card in your deck, and that's the thing. If you play as a companion, you basically have a starting hand of 8 cards. Whereas, like, your opponent, who doesn't have a companion, they get to stick with 7. Anyway, so it ended up being pretty broken. They've banned, I mean, take a look at this one. They've banned this thing everywhere. Banned in Pioneer, banned in Modern, banned in Legacy, banned in Explorer. It's just banned. And that's not the only, whoa, Yorion. How far does Yorion get to live? Oh, only banned in Modern. All right, that one's okay, I guess. Well, all things considered. So anyway, yeah, the companion mechanic probably not coming back. Although, you know, there's a lot of companions that still exist, like Kahira and whatever. They're just there, just floating around. Anyhow. Well, it was a bit controversial in Commander 2 because Commander has no sideboard. So they created an extra zone just for this mechanic. Interesting. They can't make an extra zone for the outside of game cards, but the companion, no problem. Doesn't it go to... Oh, I don't know where it goes, actually, in Commander. I have no idea. Madness from Paul Rogg. The Basking Rootwalla. Yeah, they don't... Madness is broken. That's the problem. 2 mana, Basking Rootwalla gets +2/+2 until end of turn. Sorry, let's talk about the mechanic. Madness, 0. So if you discard this card, discard it into exile. When you do, cast it for its madness cost or put it into your graveyard. So this one is 0 mana, but there's other ones that are like 1 mana. But the point is, usually when you discard a card, that's because you're supposed to lose the card, not be able to cast it for an alternate cost. Oh, Madness literally returned to Modern Horizons 3? Sorry, Modern Horizons 2? Alright. They brought it back. It's very dangerous mechanic to bring back. Very, you gotta be super careful. Velocity Anu, we did Dredge already. Sorry about that, Velocity Anu. Okay, we're gonna donate your super chat. It's Hidden Strings. Cypher. I am blown away. Okay, this card sees competitive play. If anyone showed that to me, I don't know. When Dragon's Maze came out and if someone from the future told me Hidden Strings would be part of a tier 1 combo deck, I would have said, shut up. No way. You may tap or untap target permanent, then you may tap or untap another target permanent. And I also would have assumed that creatures were involved because then it has Cypher, which is one of the worst mechanics of all time. You may exile this spell card encoded on a creature you control. Whenever that creature deals combat damage to a player, its controller may cast a copy of the encoded card without paying its mana cost. It's the clunkiest Isochron Scepter of all time. It is so jank. Does anyone play with like Cypher cards out there? It's not just with it's specifically with Lotus Field decks that you make mana with this. Lotus Field. No other decks. No deck wants to play this damn thing. It's strictly because it untaps permanents. You can even untap a Time Vault, I guess, if you want to have that option. So anyway, yeah, Cypher is like so many things can go wrong. You encode it on a creature, it dies. You block the creature, you get nothing. What else? Remove the creature in response. Anyway, there's so much has to go right. The art of attacking with a creature and connecting damage with your opponent, I mean, it's just completely lost. Okay, one from the freebie section. Gillam with Wall of Roots. No more uneven counters. Oh, they don't bring those back? I didn't notice. I always thought those were weird anyway. Put a -0, -1 counter on Wall of Roots. I didn't know -0 existed, Wizards. Wouldn't have been just as simple as saying put a 0 -1 counter on Wall of Roots. And the point of that is that's the cost to activate this creature. Yeah, you don't see that anymore. Did they play around with that, like +1 -0 and so on? Next super chat coming from Basco with Skargan Hellkite. Ooh, the Riot. We don't see Riot anymore. Skargan Hellkite. The best of all the Hellkites. 5 mana, 4/4. Now it's got Riot. This creature enters the battlefield with your choice of a +1/+1 counter or haste. That was a great mechanic, honestly. I thought that was a banger. They could bring that one back. It's still a bit fresh, so, I mean, they might bring that one back in, like, another who knows how many years. That was a very, very good one. I really like the idea. I mean, if you want to get in for some damage. You feeling a little hasty? You feel like you're off to the races? Get in that damage. But, I mean, if there's a bigger blocker, maybe you need a beefier creature. You hold back. You sit tight as a better blocker. Wait for greener pastures next turn. They literally brought phasing back. All of phasing came back. Didn't they have a big phasing set? Does this card mean nothing to you? The Teferi Master of Time. This one phases, right? Yeah. They literally say phasing on here. I thought it was, honestly, I was blown away when they brought phasing back. I didn't think they would do that. That was just weird. Changeling. Orvar. The Ul form. Is Changeling gone? It could be. Blue 3 generic for a 3/3 with Changeling. And Changeling, it doesn't explain it here, but it's all creature types. Everything. The J is now, oh, I did not remember. Yeah, where did phasing go? Yeah, it's like recent within the last 4 years. Okay, next super chat we got from Skylar. The Arcbound Ravager Modular. Oh no! They definitely brought Modular back for Modern Horizons 2. So, it's Arcbound something. Oh look, it even came by for Modern Horizons 3. So this just came out a week ago. This was Modern Horizons 2. That was a modular card. And that was also a modular card. I'm sorry, it's just getting worse before it gets better. So we're going to donate your super chat. So this is a mechanic we definitely still see today. Summer Mermaid Star with Ripple. Thrumming Stone. What a weird mechanic. Yeah, 5 mana. Spells you control have Ripple 4. Whenever you cast a spell, you may reveal the top 4 cards of your library. You may cast spells with the same name as that spell from among the revealed cards without paying their mana cost. Put the rest on the bottom of your library. I would assume this card has something to do with Commander. Like, it just doesn't work with Commander unless you're playing with, what is that, Apostle or something? There are some cards, you can have as many of those cards as you want in your deck. So you have to hope you draw your 1 Thrumming Stone and a bunch of those rats. What is it, Relentless Rats or something? Yeah, Relentless Rats, probably your best bet. What is it, Relentless Rats? Gets +1. Oh my god, that's a combo. That's insane. It might be worth it to just mulligan abuse as many mulligan rules that your play group has to get your Thrumming Stone in hand. Or even have a rule 0 that you guys can just tutor for 1 card in your deck and then play your Thrumming Stone and win. Although it's hard. Welcome, catch up with your Cup of Joe. Okay, we'll take another super chat. Oh no, that was the super chat. So sorry about that, Skylar. But whenever the suggestion gets disqualified, we always donate to somebody. It'll make the person... Summer Mermaid Star was very happy for your mess up. Nedim, how about Glowing Rogan? Or sorry, glowering... What the hell is that? This card literally is called Glowing Rogan. No, so I've never heard of this card, and I've never heard of Amplify 1. As this card comes into play, put a +1/+1 counter on it for each beast card you reveal from your hand. How many beast cards can you have left? This card costs 6 mana. This is gonna be like the last thing you put in play. Glow Rogan? No, this is not a Glowing Rogan, that's for sure. Glower is similar to Intimidate. Oh yeah. Wouldn't intimidate me if they told me. For the beasts. The beasts! Okay, well, Pedgeman's like, Well, I have no idea what's been done or not, so I'll just go. That's the Christopher B way. Pedgeman, that's the Christopher B. We did Megamorph. We did. I'm pretty sure Storm still exists. They keep bringing Storm. Maybe they don't have much Storm. I did Fear. We didn't do Regenerate. Okay, let's look at Grape Shot. Or let's look at... Okay, we'll do Grape Shot. They literally made only one... They reprinted one Storm card in the last 4 years, and that was that Life Gain one. Because that's like, how are you gonna be broken with Life Gain? So yeah, Storm... That is hard. Ben. They're not bringing that one back ever. It's too broken. Whenever you cast the spell, copy it for each spell cast before this turn. You may choose new targets for the copies. Beanpot, we did Rampage. What's with this Craw Giant? The Craw Giant has a huge fan base. Like 10 of you keep mentioning Craw Giant. Craw Giant! Join the Craw Giant Facebook group today. Join the Craw Giant Discord. Everyone loves you so much. Okay, Anthony Griffin with Constel. Okay, so now it's Super Chat Central time. Constellation with Eutropia. Constellation, whenever an enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. That creature gains flying until end of turn. So basically, it was like whenever an enchantment enters the battlefield, get this. I totally see them can go back to this, but we have not seen it for quite some time. I think enchantment players would love this thing again. It was not broken, and so it's for the enchantment kindred decks. King Ginger with Kukem. Is this the Kukemsa? You know, they spill the names these days like like it was a typo or something. The Serpent. Island Home is a mechanic. You guys were trying to tell me this earlier. So long, Somber Knight. Okay, Island Home. If defending player controls no islands, this creature cannot attack. Oh, but then why didn't they errata that on Dan Dan? That's so weird. Anyway, this mechanic sucks. Your opponent has no island? Well, what am I doing? What is this? This is just literally a defender creature. Imagine... It's not even good at 4 mana. Pay a blue, sacrifice an island. Target land an opponent controls as an island until end of turn. Oh, at least this one is good. This is a good Island Home card. You can at least give your opponent an island. Next one. Bell wants to redeem themselves with the Sky Shroud Behemoth. For Fading. Fading is gone. Yeah. The mechanic saw a lot of playback. Or I don't want to say a lot of play. It saw a lot of playback then. It was like your cards had an expiry date. You could feel the time ticking on them. So Fading, this one had Fading too. This creature comes into play with 2 Fading counters on it. At the beginning of your upkeep, remove a Fading counter on it. If you can't, sacrifice it. I have to admit, spending 7 mana for a 10/10 that I'm going to lose it in 2 turns, like that is a big feel bad moment. But there were a lot of cool cards that's like remove a Fading counter, get an effect. You know, what was the most not the most popular? Tangle Wire. That's still good, apparently, isn't it? Like, doesn't this card still see play in Commander? For those damn prison decks? Stacks, they stack these stupid things together. Fading 4. This artifact comes into play with 4 Fading counters. And at the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player taps an untapped artifact, creature, or land they control for each Fading counter. Sorry, for each Fade counter on Tangle Wire. Next up, got Meme Bruley, creature type, offering Patron of the Orochi. I have no idea what you're talking about. Patron of the Moon of the Orochi. What's with creature type? It's got snake. Oh, I see. It's that snake offering. So it could also be like bat offering or some other creature type. You can play this card anytime. You could play an instant by sacrificing a snake and paying the difference in mana cost between this and the sacrifice snake. Mana cost includes color. I think they just buffed this thing up. We're probably not going to see this again because they... Was it Emerge? octopus. No, I don't remember what. Something sea giant something. No, this is not it. What's the octopus with Emerge? The Eldrazi octopus? Like, that's basically the updated version of them, is this mechanic. As far as I know. Yeah, a lot of the Eldrazi's have emerged now. I know, but I don't remember a single card. Deep Elder Fiend. That's what I was. Elder Deep Fiend. So basically, that's what this is. You can cast this spell by sacrificing your creature and paying the emerge cost. I guess the idea is you don't need to be in like the kindred mechanic. Like for this, you basically need to be all in on a snake stack or very similar. You'd have to be loaded with a bunch of snakes to make any use out of this. But with emerge, you're allowed to sacrifice anything. Sacrifice a human to make your stupid octopus. So I guess that's how it worked around there. Oh, buyback. When was the last time they had buyback? Capsize. I know my blue cards. I knew what this did before I even saw it. Yeah, buyback 3. You can pay an additional 3 as you cast the spell. If you do, put this card into your hand as it resolves. Such a good, good point. Huh. It's not. I don't think it's broken. Unless it's broken somehow. Emerge would make a great Xenomorph card idea. You know what they should have done? Emerge, if they want to do it cheesy, they should have called it Mega Offering. Just like Megamorph. Okay, next up. Okay, let's do who didn't get a card yet. I don't know if Toilet Duck got a card. Let's go changing the color of a target. Chaos Lace. For red, change the color of target spell or target permanent to red. Costs to tap, tap, maintain, or use a special ability of target remain unchanged. If I were to take a guess, they're never going to go back to this because, well, I can tell you for certain that these cards are bugged online. On Magic Online, I've tried to play with some of these cards before, and they just don't work. Like, you cast it and just does nothing. I just put the card straight into the graveyard for absolute bubkiss. So I would imagine it just doesn't work very well digitally these days to permanently change the color of stuff. Who hasn't got a card yet? Dingleberg, I don't think got a card. Wither from Everlasting Torment. We got 3 mana enchantment. Players can't gain life. Damage can't be prevented, but all damage is dealt as though its source had Wither. Source with Wither deals damage to creatures in the form of the -1/-1 counters. They could bring that back. It's almost like Infect without the danger of being infected. You said auras that turn land into creatures? Huh? I don't know when I said that, but maybe I did. Ninja of the Deep Hours? They literally brought ninjutsu. Didn't they bring ninjutsu back? They literally brought another version of ninjutsu back. I don't remember. There's Ninja of the Deep Hours, but then in Neon Dynasty they brought it back. They'll bring it back again. They like ninjutsu. Gavin Verhey had a whole video about this, talking about ninjutsu mechanics. David says, Chaos Lace was my first ever starter pack from Revised. They're lucky I kept playing. I know, they're super. We did Craw Giants. The Craw Giant, oh my. And the Academy Award for greatest, most absolute popular card, a mechanic that has completely been lost in time. Rampage from Craw Giants. Standing ovation. The Jade wants lands that don't add mana. Maze of Ith. Yeah, they did that for flavor. I don't know, not maybe for flavor reasons, but like mechanically they thought lands should add mana. But I'm glad that they still kept abilities on lands. I love that. Epic is one of the worst mechanics ever. Earlier, so we did Epic already, and they said it was like one of the best mechanics ever. They should bring it back. Okay, the Abyss Soul with Morin Fen. Morin Fen is a 5-mana 5/4 legendary imp. Flying, cumulative. Oh, cumulative upkeep. That mechanic ultra sucks.
No, God, please, no.
No one wants to pay cumulative upkeep for anything. Even if the upkeep was fair, it's just an absolute abomination to... no one wants to soak their upkeep mana paying for something that they spent last turn. All right, Trunic, what do you got for us? Find me the last time they printed a star creature like Goyf. What do you mean, like Tarmogoyf? Are you trolling me? It's just funny. As I show this card, they were also suggesting the Tarmogoyf Nest that came out in Modern Horizons 3. Enchant land has pay a green 1, create a Tarmogoyf token. You know what that token looks like? That token looks like this. It's literally another star creature. We also have the Nethergoyf, which is also a star. That just came out a week ago. Well, we'll donate that one. We did Shroud already. Pock on Arena? I don't know what that means. I think we did Limp Sliver already. We didn't do flanking. We did banding. Knight of Valor. Watch your flank, people. 3 mana 2/2 with flanking. Whenever a creature without flanking is assigned to block this creature, the blocking creature gets -1/-1 until end of turn. So be careful when you block. I got beat by a flanking creature just the other day. Why did the creature have flanking? Oh, it's like an old card. There's a yeah, I in Modern there's like a playable flanking creature right now. They attacked, I blocked, my creature shrunk, I died, and I felt like an idiot. Yeah, Trunic, welcome to the future. Maybe want to check out the Modern Horizons 3 cards. A lot of interesting stuff in that set. Probably will never see Perpetual again. Exile Perpetual, shuffle any number of target cards from your graveyard to your library. No, we definitely could see tons of these cards. Fabricio. Oh, we did Bushido. We did Bushido. They brought Shadow. Maybe they only brought one Shadow card back in Modern. That's fine. So Solitary Monk. Yeah, like Shadow probably is just like unblockable, except in theory can be blocked by other people who are unblockable. That's basically what Shadow is. I think it also runs in the same vein as, like, people don't like the idea of not being able to block your stuff. Hence why we don't see these types of mechanics all that much anymore. Commander Ninjutsu? Eureka. Was that like... I think Eureka was in a world of its own, wasn't it? Commander Ninjutsu. Return an unblock attack you control to put this card from the command zone tapped and attacking. What a stupid mechanic. And they made it... What's the point of even having a casting cost on this thing? Does that matter at all? Mr. Very Smart with Standard Bearer or Coalition Honor Guard for Flag Bearer mechanic. Standard Bearer. The right to bear arms. Bearing flags. Okay, 2 mana. Flag Bearer. It's a 1/1. If an opponent plays a spell or ability that could target a flag bearer in play, that player chooses at least one flag bearer as a target. I have no idea why this is gone. Maybe this, if an opponent play, I guess the card sucks. Oh, maybe it was an interesting mechanic, but it's attached to a bunch of bad cards. 2 mana for a 1/1 for this ability. I don't think so. If an opponent plays a spell or ability that could target. Yeah, basically it's a lightning rod. Rico's played 60 card Magic? That's crazy. I almost don't believe that. All right, everyone, I have an announcement. All right, I got announcements. I'm going to St. Louis that weekend, this weekend. You know what that means? We're going to have an early show on Friday because I have a plane to catch in the evening. I don't know when. I'll probably update you guys by tomorrow or in my Discord by tonight. And also, I'll be getting back late on Monday. That means we're going to have a late show in the evening this Monday on, what's it called? What's the date for anyone watching deep in the future or in a few days from now? Monday, June 24th. So we're going to have like an 8 p.m. show probably on Monday. And so on. The gold mechanic? I've never heard of that gold mechanic. All right. So as usual, my coffee crew, you got to be here normally 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. Otherwise, Monday and Friday, well, we're going to do it some other time. Thanks to everyone who supports the show. If you're a patron on Patreon, a member on YouTube, or you super chat to be part of the show, or super chat so other people get to be part of the show. And thanks everyone for showing up today. People like The Jaded, King Ginger, Toads, The Abyssal. We have Fabricio Bell, Pedgeman, Reston Serpentine, Christopher B, Summer Mermaid Star, Paul Rogg, Dinglebag, David Hauer, and more, because you guys are my crew. So keep brewing up them coffees, coffee crew, and we'll keep brewing up the magic. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you at the next cup.